Ela mataripisa sasa tindrama ikakio. Mahaja wanansia bana chatari impact problem. When in that particular instance you have an opportunity to present an idea that can help that person double their net worth. If money is not the form of capital you have, what is the other next best option that you have? Because there are people who are praying for chairs and God gave them trees. I'll repeat that. There are people who've been praying for chairs and God gave them trees. And as long as it wasn't a chair, they kept praying. Let that sink in. There are people whom God gave trees, but until it is a chair, they are not interested. What capital do you possess? You see, because of wrong information and wrong mentalities, we've reached a point where the value of a person is attached to either a job or money, which is not the case. When you read of people saying they never selected him for a teaching job, and then the person, does it bad, that's not normal. It's not normal. But that person, you remember what I said in the beginning? Whatever you know, you have to do what? To learn. There's information that that person mingled with that took them to that position. If we are being extremely honest, that person does not want to go and teach and live in a remote village. That's not true. And about what's what DSTV, Malaiti, Manza Chat, Asanke Chat, no. What resources do you have? Even your brain is capital. Ideas are capital. Time is capital. The same time that you can use to watch Telemundo or chat for 2 hours with your friend is the same time that you can use to learn a skill, such as branding, digital marketing, etc. You may not have money, but you have a lot of friends. Some of you even have pages on Facebook that have nothing there. It's a page, but you have a lot of followers, but there's nothing. Posing at your then liking abantu, wachana comment. And yet you know people who sell things. Why not go to those people and say, look, I have capital known as Facebook. I have capital known as a followership. I can market your products at a commission. If all you're looking for to change your life or to advance your life is money, as long as there's no money, your life will remain the same. I want us to leave this place delivered from the myopic thinking of just thinking money is the ultimate. No. Amongst the many definitions of money, one of them is that money is a tool and money is a reward. It is a consequence, it is a result. It is like a child. It is like a man who doesn't want to marry, doesn't want to sleep with a woman, but is praying for a child. It is a result. You go for work for 30 days, what's the result? A salary. You dig a pit, what's the result? A salary. You supply things in business, what's the result? A salary. So a man-made tool should not cripple you and put you in a position where you feel if it is not there, then your life is finished. No. There are many things that people can exchange money for. And one of those things is your time. One of those things is your ideas. I love what Sabanda said when he said, after Mungu apanga chalo anakamba ati twabasiira. I love that statement very much because when God made Adam, he was done making. He was done creating. Everything that was birthed, everything that came after Adam was the responsibility of the human race. Cell phones, skyscrapers, buildings. Do you realize that the chair that you're sitting on now was just an idea at some point? It was just an idea at some point. The person who thought of it, it was just capital in their mind. Capital in form of an idea. I love the 3 C's in the part that talks about connections. But the danger with that is, when you connect to the right people, you need to have something intelligent to say or do. Because you connect to them. Oh, can I take you for dinner? What's the connection? In fact, if you don't want to buy a book, you can download the free one. There are sites, I can even give you free sites. You go there, you find any book that you want, soft copy, read, have something intelligent to say. Ideas are capital. Everything that we see now was once in the mind of somebody. If you do not have a job, you do not have the money, what ideas are you coming up with? What ideas are you creating? What is the return on your time? Are you spending your time? Are you investing it? What you spend is gone, never to come back. But what you invest has a return. Ideas. You can choose today that all I'll be doing is coming up with business ideas. I come up with a business idea, I write a business plan, and then I sell it. It's a decision. Yesterday I was explaining that every time you have a reason for why you can't do something, then you are lazy. Every time you find a reason as to why you cannot do something, then you are lazy. It is a subtle, higher level of laziness. The Bible says, a lazy man will not plow because of wind. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. Any reason that you can ever give why you can't do something, if you look closely within society, even within the nation, you find there's somebody with the exact same reason as yours, but they're doing what you're failing to do. So, in the game of destiny, there's no reason valid enough for you not to make something meaningful in your life. Because you're not a tree. You just didn't come to live, exist, and then die. No. No. Did you know that there are people who will never succeed until you win? Did you know that? Did you know that there are people who will never go to school until you make your money? There are destinies that are tied to you, responsibilities that are tied to you, that until you succeed, those who are tied to you will remain where they are. That is the seriousness of this thing. It is not coming from a selfish perspective where we're saying, be rich, just make money. No. Let us leave this place knowing that the responsibility of our lives starts with us. Stop giving excuses. Stop. When you say, I cannot do this because, rewrite that statement. Say, I will do this because. And that's the power that your mind has. I was teaching yesterday, was it a week ago? I just asked a question. I said, How long does it take to travel from Livingston to Lusaka? And everybody was shouting, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. And I said, did you realize that I never explained the mode of transport? But your mind took you to intercity. The other time, I think we were in St. John's, I said, how much is the taxi? Just drop me. 10 kwacha. But booking is 10 kwacha. There's a conditioning that our minds have been exposed to, that until we start to question certain things, we'll move with those thoughts. We'll move with those thoughts. So I was saying, your mind is so powerful. Even now, when I say Musotunia Square, you can see it, but you're not there physically. If somebody calls you from Damwa Central, you can even give them directions. From here, you can tell them, get on such a taxi, drop off at such a point, to your left, there's Musotunia Square. That same power that your mind has, why can't it transport you to a future that you want? No, you have thousands of photos in your phone. A lot, selfies, those of groups, they're called what? Welfies? Something like that. A lot of photos, a lot. And all those photos are a representation of your past. Question, how many photos do you have in your phone, in your bedroom, in your sitting room of where you're going? How many? Maybe it's a house we want to build. Why are we so stuck in the pre-times and we focus less on the future? That's your mind. I said this capital in itself. Today, if you go home and get a pen paper and say, life in Zambia is hard. Just go, write on the paper. Life in Zambia is hard. When you go home, see how your mind will start giving you reasons why life is hard. You have all these reasons. Why? Because your mind is a servant. The same way if you say, okay, next year I want to build my house. Your mind starts giving you ideas of what you can do. Oh, kuliko eja business, maybe yes. Oh, kuliko chijashan, maybe chingaende. The capital that is known as your mind. It is a weak way to think all we need is money. And if for everything that you ever have, it's money you need, you won't have enough life to get everything you think you need using money. We were given examples of how before money came, people used to do barter system, right? So they exchanged goods for goods. Other people exchanged time for goods. Others exchanged money for goods. Others exchange their brains for goods. Others exchange what? Their ideas for goods. So if you do not have money, it is not an excuse. I want that to sink in. It is not an excuse. Of the many excuses that you have why you are living the life that you think you are living now, remove money from those. You are too important an individual to be limited by something that is supposed to be a tool. No. Second, opportunity. At 7, but let's conclude the opportunity. Who has ever met Tom and Jerry? When Zoenda somewhere wanacheka Jerry, boom, kapita, or Tom. Oh. But that franchise is worth billions. Worth billions of US dollars. Something that you can't touch. A figment of imagination. So, there are different dimensions of opportunity. The first one is where opportunity presents itself. You see it and you utilize it. So maybe the government will now, so we'll be giving loans to cooperatives, that's an opportunity. You can recognize it and you can utilize it. They say a prepared man is better than a prepared one. There are people who are always ready for opportunity. When the opportunity presents itself, they are there to execute that opportunity. That is number one. Number two, there are people that search out opportunities. Searching them out. Not waiting to be told that there's such an opportunity. No, they search them out. They go to the relevant pages. They go to the relevant offices. They seek the relevant people just to discover what opportunities exist. They search them out. Because if you're always waiting, and I know Mulungalo was some pasa chance, night, you may wait for a long time. So there are people who search out opportunities. There are some who can recognize an opportunity, others who can search out an opportunity. The third dimension are for those who can create opportunities. It is called creating a need. Before cell phones, people were okay communicating with cans and strings. They were fine with that. They were okay with it. They were okay with communicating with drums. But today, when somebody just wakes up, when they just wake, before they even pray or do anything, they switch on their phone. An opportunity that somebody created, a need that they created a need and made you believe you can't live without it. It was a human being that did that. People lived before chairs. They did. Jesus spoke to 5,000 people without microphones. So people were okay before PA system. But somebody created a need that made you feel, as long as this thing is not there, you are out of place. How many things in your own life, of which when you don't have, you feel like you are a leper, or you are an outcast? It's a human being who created those things. You don't have a particular shoe, you feel out of place. You don't have a particular phone, you feel out of place. It is a human being that made those things. What have you made yourself? Are you going to be a slave throughout? At your level of influence, what innovative thing have you done? I am one person who, no matter what excuse you can give me as to why you are not doing what you're supposed to do, I will still give you the exact number of reasons why you can do it. No is evidence that a yes exists somewhere. You tried something and they said no to your face, not at pitira mumbai, because at no rejection. It is evidence that a yes exists somewhere. But the reason that people want opportunities that are going to be handed to them is because they do not want to go through the embarrassment that comes when you are searching and trying to create your own opportunities. Because some people will reject you, some will laugh at you, some will call you mad, some will call you a fool. That's why in your life, it is important for you to learn how to handle loss. When you are succeeding, what encouragement do you need? When you are 2 million, you need encouragement to go and spend it. No. What you should do is understand the things that bring down men. Understand the things that cause men to give up on life. Master how to overcome those things. Then you're okay. You can't be preparing yourself for the good times. No, you need to learn how to handle failure, rejection, and loss. Until you learn how to handle these three, you are not ready for business. You are not. You're not. Failure, rejection, and loss. If you can become a master at handling these three things, then you've been programmed for success. Even if you never trained yourself how to enjoy life when you have money. When you have money, you know how to enjoy it. Uzakaziwa. Oh, kulituwafani, uzakaziwa. But the reason you need to learn how to handle failure, loss, and rejection is because this path called entrepreneurship is a path of separation. It is a path of loneliness. There are battles that not even your secretary, your best friend, your wife, or your girlfriend can join you in sharing the pain or the loss. What systems, what theories, what knowledge have you gathered to handle these three things? Leave this summit knowing fully well that what is going to become of your life moving forward is your responsibility. That is my message to you. What will become of your life has nothing to do with your parents. Even if your parents did you gangster, they left, whatever, it's okay. Now you are an adult. What are you doing about the situation? The numbers that we were getting at the back there, what we're going to do is, this is going to be a starting point so that we can create a group. The purpose of this group is to help each other move forward. For instance, you may have found papers when we came for welcome and whatnot. Personally, I write articles on Facebook every single day. Those who are friends with me on Facebook or you like the page, I write articles on motivation, business, finance, investing every single day. Part of the reason we're creating that group is so that some of the things that you sell, some of the products, services that you sell can be posted in there. Secondly, this is the first of this meeting. The idea is for this meeting to be a yearly event. But between now and the next one, we are going to have a lot of free events. The reason why we even charged for this one was because it was a day's event. So the next one will be on the 17th of December. And the purpose of that meeting is it's going to be a goal-setting conference meeting. It is a meeting that should just help you position yourself rightly for 2023. So we'll talk about everything that deals with goals. How to set goals, how to have accountability partners, how to track goals. We'll talk about everything in that regard. But more importantly, that will be a practical place for us to learn about connections. Not those messages that, no, forward 200 people, I'm off to mom. What you are selling, products, services, and what you do. As I conclude, allow me to reiterate what I said. As you leave this place, what becomes of your life is your responsibility. If you succeed, it is your responsibility. If you fail, it is your responsibility. At this juncture, we're going to use the remaining. Okay, anyway, we'll see how many questions we can take. Part of the reason we created a day's event is so that we may have had 3 speakers and maybe nothing we said was specifically meant for you. Or maybe there's a question that you have and it was not tackled. So that's what we're going to do now. Just feel free, feel very free to ask a question. There are no wrong questions. No one is allowed to be upset with the question, no. There are no wrong questions. Yes, sir.
Well, my question is, when you are starting a business, I know a lot of people want to start businesses. What are the basic things that one needs to do? Sometimes you find people fail to find the tenders because they don't know exactly what should be done in terms maybe of business registration and the accounting system and all those basics. What does one need to do?
Okay, it has been passed to me. Okay, if you want to go the route of business registration, you would have to start at PACRA. And then you have to decide whether you're going to have a business name or you're going to have a private limited company. A business name pretty much is you and the business are one. There's no distinction. You are the business is you. You take total liability for the business. If your personal account has 50,000 and there's a penalty on the business for 48,000, they can get money from you and take there. A private limited has a minimum of 2 directors. You are not the business is not you. The business is a person on its own. And then after that, you'd have to go to ZRA, ZPPA, depending on the business that you're going to do. That's as far as business registration goes. But on the other hand, the basics of business, just talk about. All businesses is problem solving, that's all. You can either solve an existing problem or you can create a problem and solve it. You understand? You can create, you create a very big problem and solve it for people at a fee. Or you can find an existing problem and solve it. My personal advice to people is, when you're starting out in business, we say before you invest, investigate and never test the waters with both feet. So if you're starting a business, a common mistake people make is they go and get a lot of money, some of them get a loan, you start renting an office, you have all these fees, overhead costs, fixed costs that you are paying, you have no customer. Sometimes just start simple, from your smartphone. There are Facebook groups that have over 200,000 people. Make a very good banner of the products that you have and throw them there. Observe the market. Once the business starts growing, start inputting fixed costs, start inputting variable costs. There are certain people who have no business having a business premises. It is just unnecessary stress. Their business can run entirely online. I don't know if that helps.
In terms of trade references, accounting, at times maybe when you want to go and get a tender, they will ask you for trade references, they will ask you to see your books. What do you do to make sure that everything is in one place so that maybe when you go, you seem to be the person who knows what he's doing?
So it goes back to the other C that you mentioned. It's scope of character, right? If you are going to seek for a tender, you will not start a business today and get a tender. No. Unless you use somebody who's been in business for a long time. The more prudent way is for you to start a business, plan that in the next 3-5 years, I'm going to position myself like this to acquire a tender. And then they'll give you the tender requirements. Maybe they'll tell you be registered with the National Construction Council. They'll give you a grade. They'll tell you go to ZPPA. They'll tell you need to be a private limited company, have bank accounts, show us your track record. They have all those requirements. So if that's a field that you need to get in, study it now. Start ticking off those things one by one, then apply. Yes, sir.
Looking at people in companies,
Yes.
there are two types of people with power. There is what we call a boss and a leader.
Yes.
They might play the same role but very different. Now, I've been trying to be a leader. This is a very personal question, my brother. Being a good leader. But you find your employees sometimes will fear you and not respect you. Now, how do you get them to respect you and not fear you? Even when they say if you want respect, you have to give it back. I've tried in my own personal way to do that, but it's not working. Is there something I'm missing? That's the question.
Are you an employer?
Yes, I am.
Ah, okay. Okay, let me contribute. He's asking how to differentiate being a boss and a leader, isn't it?
I know the difference.
Yeah, now for your employees
To respect you.
to respect you for being a leader than fear you for being a boss, isn't it? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give my personal example. I believe in servant leadership. Okay, like you have rightly put it, for people to respect you, you must also respect them. Paul mentioned something. He said, submit to one another. So which means if people must submit to me, I should be able also to submit to them. Now, the way I personally have done it, from the time we began our business, Beautiful Cars, I never told the employees to say I am the owner. No, they should never say that to anybody. They should never take me as the boss. No, I am also an employee. Now, remember, there's something he mentioned also. A business must be an entity. It's separate from the owner. So my attitude has always been, I also work in this company. It doesn't belong to me, because the moment I have that attitude, Nishinandarama will be spending anyhow. I won't fear, because I am not separating the two. So my approach has been, I work, I have uniforms, I wear uniform every day for the business with a tag here. I wear a, what do you call this, identity card, okay? My daughter is there, she is also part of the business. I have that man there also next, he also works with us. We have about 13 employees, okay? But at the end of the day, I am part of it. So even when we started, I remember 2012, someone would ask, are you the owner? I would say, no, I'm not the owner. Where is the owner? I say, he's not around. Now, I was not lying. I would do, in my mind, I'm saying, it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to God. Are we together? Now, in that way, I am able to interact with the workers. We are all working. So no one is. So you earn the respect. You will be part of them, they will be part of you. They will own it. In fact, to an extent where, remember when I talked about discipline?
Yes.
Character, self-discipline. I talked about putting yourself under laws, self-discipline. Now, for example, I am under laws. There is nothing I can collect from the business. They refuse. The workers, they refuse. they question me. I must have a very good reason. I can even lie just to collect that money. What am I doing? I have put myself under laws. Okay? There is a law we put in 10% of all the income must not be cashed. So there is a different account where the money goes. So while they do the sales, they already separate the money. 10% goes this, 10% goes this side. There is a money for specific products, it goes this other side. There is nothing I can do to that because we are all workers and they know that I'm also a worker. So they also tell me, no, you are a worker here. So according to the law in this company, this money goes this side. So with that way, you earn the respect of your workers. You are a leader and you are not a boss. So they will not fear you, they will respect you for who you are.
Two things I'll just add there. The first one is we've been made to believe that the customer is always right, which is true in some, in a certain aspect. But the problem there is it almost neglects the employees or the personnel. It would be foolish of you to expect a very upset and disgruntled employee to produce a happy client. That's number one. So, in my hierarchy, employees should come first. Secondly, genuinely care about the people who work for you. You can care for them from a humane perspective, but more importantly, they are the people who make you your money. Genuinely care for them. Let them also know that you care about them. Have days when you just ask them to come, sit down with them, and ask them genuinely, how are you? How is your life? How are you doing? What are your plans for next year, the next 5 years to come? As long as people know that you genuinely care about them, it is very easy for them to love and to respect you. Do you have, okay?
Maybe on the someone, even myself, one thing I've learned after working with people for some time is that never treat your employees as if they are disposables. What I mean is that whenever maybe you keep them in that environment whereby whatever small thing that could happen, you can easily chase them. This is what I mean by not keeping them as if they are disposables. We must also bear in mind that these are human beings that are working. Therefore, they deserve respect. They deserve care. And they deserve to be respected for what they are doing. So, if you omit respect and you start treating your workers as if they are disposables, even the feedback also will be very harsh on you. So, basically, when you look at man, what we all want is dignity. So if you are able to show that dignity to them, they will start taking you more like a parent than a boss. And it's very, very, for example, right now you're not at your business, and then a client is going to call you, maybe, to complain against the person that you have left at your business. Then, from nowhere, you start attacking your worker. You have not given them time to be hurt. Okay? You just take what the customers told you to be gospel truth. So, even when you are receiving complaints from your customers concerning your worker, you have to take time also to talk to your worker before making any judgment. Because sometimes you can fire somebody just because your customer doesn't love that person. So you should have that patience and ask maybe the person, Nanga, amuse a band.
You also ask, say, man, give him the phone. I talk to him. You also hear his part. So, if you are constantly mischarging them, they will start treating you as a boss rather than a leader. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Ladies first.
First of all, I've learned a lot. Then my first question goes to everyone here. Is there anyone among us who can help someone how to order things, cross-border, online, maybe Tanzania and other things? Event. Then my second question is, if someone is doing business, for example, you have wake up to 5,000, and then you are finding a profit of 1,500, and then how can you save and sustain your needs and build that same profit? At the same time, you want to grow your business.
So, you see that answer there at the back. Very nice suit. Very suit. You see him? His name is Benzai. So you should see him after the meeting. You answer the first question.
Okay.
What does he do?
Why don't you bring him here so that he answers? It is a question for everybody.
Okay, actually, the reason, let me explain. The reason is because I believe that's what the sister does, right? She orders things. So I wanted him to connect her and the sister.
He wants to know as well.
Pardon?
He wants to know as well. Maybe my second.
Okay, so you get her number. So that when she knows, she tells you. Okay, come and explain. She wants to know how to order things. Outside. Oh,
We want to
how to order things outside of the country.
Okay, first I will go with the, what kind of things are you looking at or are you talking about? Is it any other things, phones, vehicles, or food? What things are you talking about? Or clothes?
What are you looking at?
like clothes, even cars.
Yeah.
Want to know how
No,
to
you should be specific because
Okay.
we want to know which business you really want to do so that maybe I can explain to you how to do it or how to start
clothes.
clothes. Okay. I think my sister was here. In clothes, the way she does the business, it's during the time of the COVID, it goes back to where Kenneth was explaining how people were limited in getting things across borders. They've got people who do their shopping across borders. They will identify what people want locally. If they, I don't know the things ladies wear, I don't know the names, but you ladies know. They will identify a product, and if it's if that product is not available, she will get a picture or download a picture on the internet, send it to a shopper who is in South Africa. Then that shopper will look for that thing and tell her, this is how much it costs. she'll send the money and those things will be sent here. If you don't want to do it that way, for example, like me, I do order cars from Japan, from SA, and I also do a import business where I order salt from Botswana. It comes, I send it to Lusaka where I sell it. So in many cases, the online business, you open up each and every site has got where you need to sign up. You put your details, you have your own account where you have control, or you speak to different, or you communicate to different sellers online. I'll give you an example on a car dealing. You have a site called Trade Cafe. It's got different companies that advertise on that Trade Cafe. So you as an individual, if you want a vehicle, for example, if you want it to be sourced from Real Motors, you want it to be sourced from, including Before I've got an independent site, but they can also be found on Trade Cafe. A Trade Cafe is a site which secures, which deals between the buyers and the sellers. Okay, it's more like it's more like a site which safeguards. If you send money, those people that are advertising things, if they are fake, they won't eat your money. That money will be kept not until your vehicle is delivered to you. So when you sign up for an account, you spot a vehicle. That vehicle, you've liked it, you negotiate. You can still negotiate, and they issue you an invoice. When that invoice is issued to you, you go to the bank with that invoice. When you go to the bank, you tell them, oh, this is the car that I want to buy. They will give you, they will tell you the exchange rates of, if it's in dollars, they will tell you this amount. If, for example, if it's $2,000, they will tell you that this is equivalent to this in kwacha. And if you have that money in your account, then you are able to transfer that money with a charge. They will charge you a commission. A bank will also charge you a commission for doing that transaction for you. Then again, there is also, like, I also buy things on eBay. eBay, I think most of you know eBay. eBay, you don't need to go to the bank, you don't need to go anywhere. When you sign up, you have an account, you can select any good. You choose if you want laptops, if you want TVs, even an engine you can buy. So once you get that engine, when you want to make payments, they will ask you to enter they will ask you which method you want to use to pay. You can either use your credit card, you can use your card by just entering those numbers on the card. You've seen ATM card, the way it is, it's got numbers there. You enter them, and it's got another number behind. I don't know what that number is called. There are 3 digits like this. Yes, the CV number. When you enter it, automatically that money will come out of your account, goes to the seller, and that thing will be sent to you. But there are also ways. It's either you choose. You can choose that item to be sent to you through free post, which will take long. Or you can identify, we've got some freight or courier services like there's DHL, there's iShop, there's One World, and Maxpetis, you just choose, they'll give you an identification number which you add in that your account on eBay. When your things are sent or when they want to be sent to Zambia, they will have, these other guys, they have companies like in the UK. For example, your item will be coming from China, going to the UK. Those guys, if they've given you an identification number, they will receive the goods on your behalf. Then that identification number will have all your details, the Zambian details, where after they handle everything, they make a manifest for you and they send those things to you in Zambia, then you pay them a commission. I think that's how the online business is done. I think if you've got more questions, you're free. As we are going out, you can ask more, or you can get my numbers for you just to know more about this online banking. It's a simple thing. I was explaining to some people I was with during that 15 minutes break, where it's not all about the money, like you have all said. You don't need money to do any business. Even when someone comes to you and asks you to say, I'm looking for a plot, I want a plot somewhere, even if you don't have that plot, you can use your mouth to get the money out of that person. You just tell them to say, oh, I think I know Kenneth, Mr. Rumbia, who deals in plots. When you take that person to Mr. Rumbia, there will be a commission there. You didn't use money, you just used your mouth. Don't have that attitude of saying, because you don't have, and everyone shouldn't have. You just say, no, I know someone. I think that's the way we all came to this. I've worked with Kenneth, I've worked with Mwewa. Those are my former classmates, and we've always given business to each other. We don't just end there. If I don't have, I'll say, try Kenneth. Kenneth can help. I think he knows he's able to testify there. Even well. I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Yes. Maybe just to add to what he has already said. These sites, like he has said, they've got even a tracking system. You are able to track how far what you have ordered is. You even receive some prompts. They tell you now they've left in the warehouse, now they've been loaded on the plane, now they are here. So you are able to know when you are likely to receive those goods. Like Alibaba, there's even one called the Kiku, because they've realized certain products are being bought a lot from a certain region. So maybe say for instance, they know Zambia Wagula Maningi Vaso. So what they've done now, they've linked certain shops within this country to those sites. So when you just indicated that I'm in Zambia, it will even show you which shop you can collect your goods from. Then there are physical shops, you can even go there inside physical and be able to know and even find out, I want to order something with you. I'm told you are the people who receive this stuff. Can I come and collect from you? You can collect it from there. Then if it's a cross-border trade, it's very important for you to familiarize yourself with the certain incentives. There are certain associations that have got incentives. If you are aligned to those, it's more like farmers' union. If you are in a cross-border association, there are certain incentives that you will receive, which other ordinary people do not receive. Then you can also go to ZRA and find out about specific goods. There are certain goods that are zero rated in terms of duty. So you need to know, say for instance, agriculture implements, agricultural products. You just need to go there and find out, I want to order this kind of things. What are your policies on this? They'll be able to give you a guidance so you already know. If I were to buy a plow in Vic Falls, but I think is without paying any duty. So you compare the prices. If I buy it in Zambia, okay, in Zambia in, but maybe they are not strong. Because you'll be surprised that countries, certain countries like South Africa, everybody thinks everything's from South Africa, you'll be surprised that actually South Africa also buys certain things from Zimbabwe. In as much as their economy is run down, but there are certain products that they produce which South Africans cannot do very well. So you need to find out what certain products you can get from certain countries.
Any other questions? Okay. This was the main question that I wanted to ask. Let's say I'm done with school right now, and then I have ideas. So I have ambition, but how do I advertise myself? How do I expose myself to a potential employer? And another question that I had was that how do I connect with people in power, like the deputy mayor, if I want to implement the ideas that I have, if I want to put them into action, if I want to build something big? Maybe the deputy mayor.
Perhaps I can go in with the question of how would you connect to him? Because for me, again, I'm someone who has been connected to him. I wasn't connected. I think that aspect I can use my experience. I think it's something that you can't help. Maybe I'll say how I connected to him is someone has to. You can't just associate with someone anyhow. Someone has to be. You can't be a friend of everybody. You have to have a certain value that you add to someone's life. And also, if you're not adding value, you have to have a certain potential that you carry within yourself. You can't just be, you choose, perhaps there are two people that you can say, I can't associate with this one, but I can associate with this one. It's the value they create. So for me to connect with him, I started adding value to myself. I started studying, my personal study about developing myself and actualization, and the discussions. He mentioned in one of on the presentation to say you can invite someone, a high-profile person, to waterfront and you pay for the food, but the discussions that you do have, will he remember you next time you meet to say, oh, I remember you are doing this or you shared this. It's the content that you put out, that you see. You align yourself in line with the value of the person. You have to provide value to the person who is more valuable than yourself so that he can accommodate you, because the people with high profiles, they don't want to mingle with anyone. Trust me. They will not allow you to be in their circle if you are not valuable. So they have to see potential in you to say, okay, if I'm associating with this one, even if this person calls me, I'll be able to pick up a call because they provide value. They are just not beggars who are always looking for something at the end of the day. When you see a call from someone, they are friends that you do have. When you see a call from them, you know it's either they are complaining about their problems or they want money to borrow, or there's always something about them. Then there are those genuine people that when you call them, you'll be like, it's just maybe an interaction. Even when they present an issue, you not think that's the first thing that they want. So that's how you connect with people, I can say.
You know, there were two statements that were made. Number one is when you are talking about connection, he has eye connection. The two speakers made two statements. He says they were looking for skilled people. And then he came in, couldn't find those skilled people. And also he mentioned the same thing. So on eye level profile, he has that connection, people looking for people who have skills that can work. But whenever they come around, they don't find nothing. Now on the page that people will be advertising their goods, are you going to allow people now to start advertising the skills that they have? so that in the future, when they are looking, it is just where they can get in touch with the person, knowing this person is skilled in that area.
In the question, the second question you said, how can you market yourself to a potential employer? So I'll give you a practical example. Sorry, madam, I've forgotten your name? Madam Harriet, you have a restaurant, right? Okay. You are done with school in November. Yeah, so as of December, you have enough free time on your hands, right? She runs a restaurant. It's a high-end restaurant, right? It's a high-end restaurant. And most of the people who buy food from her will probably be maybe employees from banks, etc., etc. And they would have to go to our workplace and actually buy that food. For instance, I'm assuming, I don't know, it's just an example. Imagine if you came up with a proposal to her that showed that, look, we can make more money, not by waiting for these guys to actually come here, but by us creating a delivery system that ensures that between 12:30 and 13:30, that food is delivered to their offices. You've provided a solution, you've provided convenience, you've done your numbers, and you've shown her how it's beneficial for her to go that route. Question, why wouldn't she hire you? So, what I'm trying to say is, through and through, we've been emphasizing that business is about solving problems, right? So, if you are going to get a job from a potential employer who's trying to solve a problem, you need to show them how you can get into that organization, help them solve problems, and make profit. That's why I gave an example of a CV. Don't spend 3 paragraphs talking about yourself, your tribe, your NRC. No. Briefly talk about who you are in the application letter. Then explain. Tell the company, I have studied your firm, I have studied its contextual background, I have studied the developmental process, I know your aims and objectives, I know what your target market is, and I'll be able to be a valuable member of the organization because of, you list the things, personal qualities that you have, potentials that you have, competencies that you have, that you're bringing to that firm. That's the argument that you go with. If you ask about the dress code, who is going to die?
Let me add, you mentioned of those in the government, something like that. You know, first of all, some connections happen through, I think someone answered it somewhere where he talked about maybe you were together at school, you know, all those are connections, isn't it? You grew up together, you've seen these 3. I just heard now that they were together in school. So already those are connections. So even if one goes up, at least he cannot forget the friend. And that's why we say social networking. Now, there are also those we connect to, even if we may not have the similar background, but as we progress in life, you just have to connect with them. So there are people who are found in certain places, and you cannot find them in other places. I met one guy the other time, he asks me, you are not sick nowadays. So I said, where? Because I'm around. You get my point. I asked him that question, where do you want to see me? Okay, so then I jokingly said, if you were a customer at Stanbic Bank, we could have been seeing each other because every time I go there. The point I was trying to show him is that there are places you will find me, and there are places you will not find me. So it depends on where you are looking for me from. So there are certain connections you may never have if you don't change places. Okay? That's why I remember I said, I'm giving you this assignment. Write 10 people you want to know and meet. That assignment is practical because those 10 people you are targeting, you will find out what do they like, what do they do, how do they socialize, which places are they found. Okay, now with that, find out if they play golf. Now I am about to have golf, even if you don't like golf. You get my point? Okay, you find that maybe they are always found at the golf club. Or they are found at, like this other time, was it January, just early this year. Okay, I deliberately find myself, you want to eat something. I'll go and eat at Waterfront, I'll go and eat at David Livingstone, I'll go and eat at Maramba River Lodge. It's not expensive, it's just an attitude. You think it's expensive. Coca-Cola, it will be just the same amount, maybe 10 kwacha or 15 kwacha. You mean you can't afford? You can. So, by going there, this other time I am eating, there was a white man here with another one. Then the people who were with him left. Next he says, can I join you guys? We say, welcome. He came and joined. We started eating and having drinks. We started talking. He's from Switzerland and so on and so on. Connected immediately. Every time he's in Zambia, it's me he calls. The moment he's arriving, yesterday he sent me a WhatsApp. John, I am out of the country. I will be in Zambia in January. But how did I know him if I didn't go to Waterfront? Are you getting my point? So there are places where you can meet these people. And then their interests. That one is important also. Their interests. Now, for example, if you want to meet politicians, they call for a meeting, you don't attend. And then you say, I want to meet Honorable Mwetwa. How are you going to meet him? He is around, he says, okay, we are meeting people at Victoria. You're not there. You see where we miss it sometimes. So there are certain interests which these people have, which if you follow those interests and find yourself there, you are able to connect. Personally, there are meetings I hold, for example. Why won't you? That one who is talking about connections, he came through a meeting, isn't it? We have met here because of a meeting, isn't it? It's a place. So take keen interest. The people you are going to target, where they are found, what's their interest, which places are they found, make a deliberate policy just to make sure you are found there. And then be visible, even when you are there.
There was a question at the back.
My question is in line with what the lady said earlier, saying it's better to create your own business than chasing after a job. Now, for instance, you are in a situation where your occupation, just the nature of your occupation, your character is not something that people wish you do. Then it's affecting your business. So is it wise to eliminate the occupation and concentrate on your business, or can you balance? That's my question.
So, if you are trained as a teacher, is it a must that you should be a teacher?
I want you to think about that.
We can answer it.
Okay. So, can you come again on your question?
My question is, since you said education create your own business rather than chasing after a job. So now I gave an example saying that, for example, you are working, you have an occupation, you are working, and just the nature of the job, the character that you portray the job affects your business. It affects your business, but you keep succeed more with the business than the occupation. So my question was, is it wise to eliminate the occupation?
Yeah, just on that one, I'll be very categorical. You are saying that right now you are working, isn't it?
Yes.
Then you're also doing some business. So the other question is that which one manages